Embrace the suck is a philosophy, and it's a philosophy of there's nothing you can do about it, so make the best of it.
There's only a few things that any of us can control in life, and Anthony seems to focus on the things that he can control and not worry about the things that he can't.
Anthony gave you that phrase, didn't he? Embrace the suck. Yeah, I mean, I can't think you have to.
There are times when I use curiously offensive adult language when things get rough. But overall, if you have a go-to attitude and get it done, it just makes it easier.
Anthony is a work hard, play hard individual. If it is worth doing, it's worth putting every bit of your effort into, whether it's an oral argument, whether it's a workout, whether it's a happy hour. If you're going to do it, go all the way and do it right.
And he was our supervisor. He was he ran the office.
My first impressions of him were he's hardcore and but funny.
I love being in the military because of the men and the women I get to work with, the things you get to do, the culture, the accountability. You set new bars on everything you do.
And he was kind of the one that made sure we were all on task and knew what was going on. Working with him was great, though. He really let us learn. He gave us enough guidance to get us where we needed to go, but really let us be creative and kind of try to figure things out.
When you do something you love, and there's that old adage, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. I am the poster child for that because I absolutely loved doing it, so I never felt like I went to work.
So he's telling me about these symptoms that he has, and I'm kind of saying, well, maybe you should go get that checked, it's whatever. And so he goes to get it checked, and he goes to the neurologist, and they run more tests.
My foot would skip every once in a while. I would have a little twitch here, a little twitch there that was constant. It wasn't going away.
And I'm like, so how did it go? And he says, yep, it's ALS. And I just start laughing hysterically. An odd reaction, right? But I doubled over in laughter, literally. It was just such a ridiculous notion.
After I was diagnosed with ALS, I soon discovered that there was a higher increase of getting ALS in the military.
Like with Anthony, we do see a high incidence of ALS in people or patients who have had prior military service. And there are ALSA and the Department of Defense in particular are funding studies, ongoing studies, to better understand this association.
This is the guy that, was probably the most fit guy in the office, the guy that ate all the healthy food for lunch all the time, the guy that, worked harder than anybody, and he's the one that got sick. How does that happen?
But that wouldn't have changed my decision to serve. It's been one of the most honorable things I could do. I'm privileged to have served, and even if I knew prior to that, it wouldn't have been a factor. I'd do it all over again. They have made my journey so far with ALS very easy. They've been very supportive. They've been the functional equivalent of family.
When we came up and did the ALS walk, we were able to a couple of us were able to arrange our schedules that, hey, I got to go to Seattle this month anyway. If I can make it that week, it'll make it easy. And then other people rented a van and drove 13 hours to come up, and took the day off and did that. And it wasn't because anybody had to. It was because, he means something to us.
I think he focuses on the positive more than anybody I know. I mean, he cherishes his wife and his little girl, and he focuses on the time that he can spend with them and the quality of life that he can provide in terms of experiences with this little girl and taking in football games and doing all the fun stuff and just enjoying what he can.
A father's love for his daughter is just insurmountable. And if you don't have one, you won't know it. I hope that every man understands the love that I have for my daughter, because it's wonderful.
I saw a side of Anthony I hadn't seen before. He softened, and his eyes melt. It's a beautiful thing to watch him interact with Samantha.
The progression with this disease, the Embrace the Sun philosophy, has really helped, because there are stages that you go through in ALS. There's physical and there's emotional stages, and both of them are equally as devastating. And how you react to those will define the nature of the disease, I think.
If you don't learn to take every day for itself and find the fun and the beauty in the midst of this awful disease, it's gonna take everything from you, including what time you have left. So you have to be real, have the hard conversations, make the hard plans, accommodate the changes that come, embrace the suck.